Welcome, third graders, to Home Learning, Day 31, May 12th. Looks like we have some fractions to look at today, and we're going to work on C's behind trees a little bit more. All right, let's get to it. Hey, third graders, I left up the same fractional drawings that I had yesterday. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But before we go any further, we need to get some of our vocabulary down. So now yesterday I said that I ate 3/8 of the candy bar. So, and I was kept referring to as like 3 out of 8. Well, that's fine. As long as you can know it like that, that's fine. But let's try to refer to this now more often as a fraction, 3/8. And as I was thinking about this, we really did talk about this quite a bit during our Measuring Santa project. And I think I even introduced these words. The top number, what we're counting, that is called the numerator. The bottom number, that's called the denominator. So our total pieces is the denominator. And the number that we're counting on top is the numerator. So we need to use those terms a lot. In our lesson today, our homework sheet is talking about breaking a whole pizza, whole candy bar, whole apple, something that's whole, into fractional parts. Fractional parts means equal parts. So here, this one, we have 2 equal parts, and simply, you guys know, we just slice it down the middle. So what would we do if we wanted to make different fractional parts? Well, start with this. Start with a half. And let's move to then we can break each one of these halves down then in a half again. Okay? And now we have 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. We just broke our whole down into fourths. Now, what if you want to break something into eighths? Well, break it down into halves. Then chop each one of those in half. Now you have fourths. And then same thing. Chop down each one of those fourths in half again. And you have eighths. Now you can do this other ways. You can just simply kind of eye it up. Yeah, that's kind of hard. I like to have some sort of technique. And we can try one of those, just eyeing it up. For those students who remember the word multiple, like we'll get multiples of 2 then. Okay, so every time you slice it in half, you'll get a multiple of 2. Now, don't worry about that if you can't remember that right now, but that's a little bit extra for you. One really cool thing you can see in this diagram, boys and girls, is you really can tell like how many fourths are in a half. You really can visualize that, can't you? You can tell how many eighths are in a fourth. There's like, here these 2 eighths would fit into there. Well, let's see if we can skip over. How many eighths in a half? Well, yeah, you're right, boys and girls. You're right. 4 is half of 8, I know. Yeah, but let's just see if we still can see that there. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 eighths kind of slide up into this half there. You notice that? You're already there. Equivalent fractions. You guys are jumping ahead a couple lessons. I can't believe it. Wow. 1/2 is equal to 2/4, and that's all equal to 4/8. 8 plus, boys and girls. I think we accomplished a lot of this when we were doing our Measuring Santas. I know we did. So hopefully it's all coming back to you. Now, what do we do if we're going to break something up into thirds? Well, this one's a little bit tougher for me, but once you get that first one going, it will help us with some other fractions. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of eye it up, boys and girls. So let's see here now. Now, half would be there, but a third, that means you'd have three pieces, right? The bottom number, this denominator, tells you how many total pieces you have. Remember, we talked about that. Okay, where is that going to be? Like right about here, maybe? Okay. I know you got to kind of eye it up. I suppose we could measure it, huh? Then we could divide those fractions. Divide those inches. Or centimeters, I suppose. I don't know. It looks pretty good. I don't know. This seems like it should be a little bit bigger. We're just kind of eyeing this up here. Maybe I should get rid of that right there. Okay, we're going to have to fix that. You know what? I'm going to have to put the camera down for a second. Hold on. Oh, well, boys and girls, I think that looks pretty good. I like it. So if when you have a full piece, let's say that's a candy bar or a donut, Long John, my brothers and I were very familiar with thirds because there was me, my brother Pete, my brother Pat, and if there was a Long John or something that had to be shared, it had to go into three pieces. Now, there you go. I think each one of those pieces looks like a third. Boys and girls, what if we did decide to measure it to get it perfect? What could we do here? It looks like it's 18 inches, right? So, boys and girls, if we want three equal parts, what would we do? Got 18, three equal parts. Hey, you're right. Divided by 18 by 3. And what do you get? Let's see. What times 3 will give me 18? 6. 6, boys and girls. Hey, I can't hold this camera and mark at the same time. I would do that for you. I'll mark it right now into 6-inch chunks, and we'll have 3 really great equal pieces. Boy, there's a lot of multiplication and division in fractions, I tell you that. Good thing I had this ruler. Well, there you go, third graders. 3 equal groups of 6. 6 inches there, 6 inches there, 6 inches there. Wow, boy, our whole is really looking like it's divided into the fraction of a third really well. Now, once you get this one, just like when you work with the half, well, once you work with a third, you can do other cool things with this. Once you get that one up, now we can go with and make some 6. So get my ruler up here. I want to make a nice straight line here, but I have an issue here. I got 2 hands holding the camera with one. I need somebody to hold this. Okay, well, I'm going to have to come back. Okay, let's take a look here. We'll get somebody to hold it. Well, look who stopped by to help us hold our yardstick, boys and girls. It's Turk. Great job, Turk. Great holding that still. Now, can you hold it up on the board while I draw the line? Not so sure about that. Good job, Turk. Nice job. Thanks for helping out. Wow, Turk did a pretty great job of holding that yardstick for me. Wow, he's a good helper. Well, I'm pretending now that these are Long Johns, and we're sharing them. So we have that first one, that first Long John, cut up into 3 pieces, 3 equal pieces, so it's in thirds. So, thirds. Now, this next one, we're going to divide it into 6. So this is how I go about it when I have 6. I get my thirds. So I'm going to make my third. And then I'll get this third over here. And eye it up there. And now I simply have to chop this third in half, and this third in half, and this third in half. So let me put the camera down for a second and see if I can get that done. So there you go. But it looks like this one's not quite right here. I slice this here. Put that one there. That's halfway in there. Got that one there. This one I didn't quite get. So no issues, boys and girls. You simply do this. You erase this mark and redraw it. I think I initially had it over here, and I got a little bit shaky, and it's over here. So as one of my students once said, the only reason that you can't redraw that right here, erase it and redraw it, is because you're lazy. And he said that to the whole class, and I thought, wow, I really like that. So we don't have anybody lazy in third grade, so that should not be a problem. Okay, there we go. 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. So this whole has been divided into 6. There you go. Now, if we divided each one of these 6 again, then we'd have 12 pieces underneath here, and then we'd have 12ths. So this technique works really well for multiples of 3. Okay, boys and girls? So what if Mr. H ate 1/3 of that long john? Or you get a math sheet that says shade in 1/3. Well, first of all, you got to break it down into your appropriate unit fraction, which we have here. So let's do this one. So I would shade in just this one right here. Shade this in. This would be the shaded in part that, I ate. So that would be gone. Okay? Now, what if Mr. Hickey ate 2/3? How much would you shade in? So Mr. H ate 2/3 of that long john or fraction bar. So I'd have to shade in all of this, and then this second third here too. So 2/3 are shaded in. And shade it all out. I'm going to shade over the top of the third thing here. Well, maybe not. Just leave that there. It looks kind of good there. So, okay, so 2/3 are shading in. So if you happen to be asked in your math assignment to shade in 2/3, there you go. I think you're shading in 6 or something. Maybe you're shading in 1/3. I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's take a look at your assignment. Well, there you go, boys and girls. Here's our assignment for today. Shade each fraction bar to show the fraction. First, divide the fraction bar into the correct unit fraction. Okay, this unit fraction is 1/4. So what we have to do here is, just like I showed you before, we're going to slice this in half here, and then slice that half in half, and that half in half, and then you will have 1, 2, 3, 4 chunks. And then you're going to have to shade in 1/4, which would, just be right here. Okay? So 6, you're going to have to break this into 6, divide it into 6. So first do the thirds like I showed you. Did you see that? I just showed you. Go like that, go like that. And then slice each one of those in half also. Okay, it's really super hard to go, okay, where's about a 6? And then next thing you know, got a little piece here and a big jumbo piece over here, which then, of course, you would erase. Now, so, just like that, just like we did in our example. And then you're going to shade in 2 of the bars, 2 of them, okay? Now, you have to do that for 8ths also. You're going to divide this into 8 pieces, okay? All multiples of 2, which 8 is. We can use that, start with a half thing, go a half, then half it again. That's 4ths, and half all those, and you have 8ths. Okay, boys and girls? And then, of course, down here, this is just like a number line type of thing. It's the same thing as a fraction bar, it's just skinny. Okay, so, the beginning of your number line is here, and this is 1 whole. Let's say 1 whole inch. Now, this should seem familiar. 1 whole inch, boys and girls. So So a third would be, right there. Okay. And then, for fourths, same thing. Slice this in half. There and there. Okay. And same thing with this one. So they're kind of mixing them all up. So don't get confused. Rewind the video and look at how I did the halves, fourths, and eighths. And rewind the video and look how I did the thirds. So, there it is right there. You just have to rewind it. And how you did the sixths. Okay? So you guys can do it. That's all you have. And boys and girls, I tell you, there's a lot of opportunities to practice using your fraction and learning about fractions. Like, if you go to, the store and you're walking by the bakery, well, I think a pretty good argument that you buy some Long Johns so you can break them down into thirds or maybe fourths or maybe fifths. I don't know, fifths would be a little bit more difficult. We really haven't talked about that, but I think great opportunities for study. I know it might be difficult. You might have to eat the pieces too. But you guys can do it. You've done that before. Now, boys and girls, I'm looking forward to seeing your praying hands. Remember, one side, you're labeling your types of prayers: adoration, petition, intercession, thanksgiving, and contrition. And then on the other side, you are writing your personal prayers yourself. Okay? So in complete sentences, and it'd be great if they could be done in cursive too, guys. So you guys can do it. You guys have the capability. I hope you've been enjoying Seeds Behind Trees, boys and girls. As we move into chapter 6, I know we've talked about how we're going to meet some new people, but we also hear Seeds Behind Trees and Grayfire talk about some different experiences, and specifically, they're talking about what Grayfire and the werewolves were like when they were younger, and it's really interesting here how it talked about how the werewolves, which her name was Otter, what was she like? Otter. That was her name. Probably still is. It says, she would not be denied, Grayfire said. She had to be right always. The strange thing is, she was. So that really interesting. Kind of talks about the werewolves or Otter's character traits, and we should remember that because we're going to hear more about the werewolves or Otter later on in the story. Well, keep reading Seeds Behind Trees, boys and girls, and reread. That's the best way to have good comprehension is rereading, and also to learn how to read. So if you finish, I know there was a question today at our video conference. Well, Ms. Ricky, why didn't you include a separate word work? Well, I included those questions for you to answer on chapter 6 and 7, boys and girls. So you should write those out in complete sentences, and there's some guidelines at the top. So follow those, and in tomorrow's video, I'll probably go through those a little bit too. So there's plenty of work for you to do there, and it's good work. This is an awesome book. Learning about fractions is awesome. It's very super important, and I want you to do your best, and I've been happy that people have been contacting me, asking for Zoom meetings, and we're getting this all figured out, and you guys are learning. So it takes 3 people for a child to learn. It's the child, the students themselves, your teacher, and your parents. So please give your best effort, and remember, as always, go Zephyrs!